The Wolfman is a 2010 American supernatural horror film directed by Joe Johnston. A remake of the 1941 film of the same name, it stars Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt and Hugo Weaving. In the film, an American actor is bitten and cursed by a werewolf after returning to his ancestral homeland in search of his missing brother. Mark Romanek was originally attached to direct the film but left weeks before filming due to creative differences and budgetary issues. Johnston was hired for weeks before principal photography, under the impression he could shoot the film in 80 days as Universal intended. However, reshoots extended production, inflated the budget, and delayed the film's release several times. The film underwent numerous alternative versions during post-production. Danny Elfman was briefly replaced by Paul Haslinger as the film's composer. However, the studio reverted to Elfman's previously completed score a month before the film's release, after finding Haslinger's electronic-based score unsuitable. The Wolfman was theatrically released on February 12, 2010 to negative reviews. The film was a box office bomb, grossing $142.6 million against a production budget of $150 million. Despite the film's failure, Rick Baker and makeup effects supervisor Dave Elsey won the Academy Award for Best Makeup at the 83rd Academy Awards for their work. In 1891, Ben Talbot is murdered by a wolf-like creature. His brother, Shakespearean actor Lawrence Talbot, returns home after receiving a letter from Ben's fiancée Gwen Conliffe informing him of Ben's disappearance. Lawrence reunites with his estranged father Sir John, who informs him that Ben's body had already been found mutilated. At a local pub, Lawrence overhears the locals believing it to be a wild animal, but many blame gypsies who are camped outside the town, while other claims there was a similar murder 25 years earlier, and a werewolf was the suspected killer. Lawrence has flashbacks as he tours his family's home where his mother Solana seemingly committed suicide when he was a boy. Lawrence saw his father standing over her dead body. He was sent to Lambeth Hospital in London for a year, having suffered from delusions connected to the event. Lawrence visits the gypsies during a full moon. The local townspeople raid the camp to confiscate a dancing bear they believe is the killer, but a werewolf attacks the camp, killing several gypsies and townspeople, and biting Lawrence in the process before being chased away. A gypsy woman named Maleva sutures Lawrence's neck wounds, but another gypsy insists the now cursed Lawrence should be killed before he kills others. Maliva refuses, saying he is still a man, and that only a loved one can release him. Lawrence recovers unnaturally quickly and develops heightened vitality and senses. His father's Sikh servant Singh shows Lawrence a set of silver bullets and implies that something monstrous is loose in Blackmore. Inspector Francis Aberline arrives to investigate the recent killings, and suspects Lawrence is responsible based on his mental history. Fearing for Gwen's safety, Lawrence sends her away. He follows Sir John to Solana's crypt, where Sir John locks himself in a room alone, and gives Lawrence a cryptic warning. Lawrence undergoes a painful transformation into a werewolf before running off into the woods and killing the hunters stationed there. The next morning, Aberline and the police arrest Lawrence. Taken back to Lambeth, Lawrence is subjected to advanced treatments overseen by the sadistic Dr. Honegger. Sir John visits Lawrence and explains that 25 years ago, during a hunting expedition in India, he was bitten by a feral boy infected with lycanthropy. Sir John then confesses that he was the werewolf who bit Lawrence and responsible for the recent murders, including that of Solana and Ben. Sir John also admitted that he had Singh lock him up every full moon night to keep his curse at bay and had contemplated doing suicide. But now, he has embraced the curse and intends to use it to suit his desire of killing others. Sir John also informs Lawrence that the moon will be full that night and leaves a razor in case Lawrence contemplates suicide. By nightfall, Dr. Honegger conducts an evening lecture with Lawrence as a case study. However, Lawrence warns the attendees before transforming into a werewolf again, killing Dr. Honegger and a few orderlies before escaping. Lawrence then goes on a rampage throughout London with Aberline in pursuit. The next day, Lawrence visits Gwen's antique shop for help, until Aberline arrives and searches the shop, but Lawrence has already escaped to Blackmore.
Aberline arrives there ahead of him and waits outside Talbot Hall, arming himself and accompanying policemen with silver bullets. As she travels back, Gwen searches for Maliva in the hopes of finding a way to cure Lawrence, but Maliva tells her that there isn't any cure, and that Lawrence must die to prevent the curse from spreading. Lawrence arrives at Talbot Hall, where he learns that Sir John has murdered Singh. He loads a gun with Singh's silver bullets and attempts to shoot Sir John, but learns too late that Sir John had removed the powder from the cartridges years ago, rendering them useless. As the full moon comes into view, the Talbots transform into werewolves and set Talbot Hall on fire as they battle. At first, Sir John has the upper hand, but Lawrence turns the tables by kicking Sir John into the fireplace, burning his whole body before cutting his head off, killing him for good. As Gwen and Aberline arrive to the scene, Aberline attempts to shoot Lawrence, but Gwen stops him, resulting in Aberline being bitten by Lawrence. Still in his werewolf form, Lawrence pursues Gwen and corners her above a gorge. She pleads with Lawrence, whose consciousness recognizes her. The police and hunters approach, distracting Lawrence long enough for Gwen to shoot him with Aberline's gun. Lawrence reverts to human form, thanking Gwen for setting him free before dying in her arms. As Talbot Hall burns, Aberline is horrified with the knowledge that he was bitten by Lawrence while watching the full moon come into view, foreshadowing his imminent fate in becoming the next werewolf.